Hello and welcome to Jurassic Reviews. Today we'll be taking a look at another X Plus Godzilla figure, this time from the Large Monster series. That figure is the 25cm Godzilla 1964B from the film Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Before we begin, here's a look at the box that it comes in. Just your normal 25cm X Plus box. This is the standard version of this figure. The Rick version came with a miniature Rodan and Mothra larva. I know there was quite a few people that liked that option, but it just wasn't for me. I already have a 25cm Rodan 1964, so I'm really just missing a Mothra larva. I'll probably look for a Bandai substitute until X Plus makes one. This figure stands just below 10 inches tall, and is 11.5 inches long from head to tail. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster was the second Godzilla film of 1964, which is why this Godzilla is referred to as the 1964B. In fact, the suit that was used in the other 1964 film, Mothra vs. Godzilla, was used in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster as well, though the head was altered quite a bit. It's definitely not as mean looking as the first 1964 Godzilla. He just doesn't look nearly as menacing, which is a good thing considering the film it's a part of. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster was really a transitional type movie as far as Godzilla's character. It's the first film where he started to display human-like traits, and demonstrated a much larger personality, like the scene where he laughs at Rodan getting hit by Mothra's silk. He also became more of a protector of Earth instead of a destroyer, something that would continue for the rest of the Showa series. I think the sculpt is a pretty great representation of that Godzilla, and I love that he's sort of in this pose with his arms up. He's also standing more upright than he's usually depicted. It all fits the more expressive nature that he had in the film. Details on the sculpt are fantastic. The whole body is covered in the tree bark-like texture the character is known for having. The chest does sort of have a smoother part to it. It's a line right down the middle of the chest. Moving to the feet, this Godzilla has 3 toes, which I think a good amount are some of the Showa Godzillas had. The tail has the tree bark-like texture covering most of it, but it also has a smoother texture on the bottom portion. Each hand has 4 fingers, and again, the arms are raised up a bit. Next, let's move to the dorsal plates, and they look awesome. I remember reading that some thought they were on the small side, but having it in person, I think it looks about right. Each dorsal plate has a bumpy texture that smooths out near the tip of each plate. Another cool detail is the line going down in between the dorsal plates on the left side of the back. I believe this is supposed to represent the seam in the Godzilla suit where Haru Nakajima would get in and out. Just an awesome detail to include. Moving to the head, Godzilla has his mouth open like he's letting out a roar, most likely directed at King Ghidorah. Inside the mouth there's individually sculpted teeth, and you can also see his big tongue. Other details on the head include his nose, large eyebrows, and large eyes. I think the eyes are one of the main things that set the 64B apart from the other 64. They just always seemed a bit brighter and wider, and more front-facing. Moving to the paint, the majority of the figure is a dark charcoal gray, with some lighter gray highlights found throughout. The chest and neck in particular have a lot more lighter gray than other areas. The fingernail and toenails are painted a sort of off-white color, and gray, and they are combined to make a nice looking gradient. Moving to the dorsal plates, the inner parts of each are painted darker gray, and the outer parts are lighter gray. Looking at the head and mouth, the teeth are painted white, but they have a tiny bit of brown in them to make them look a little less clean. The inside of the mouth is painted pink, so is the tongue. The eyes are painted white with black pupils. I think this is a pretty good paint job. I have no complaints, really. Before I give my rating for this figure, here's a comparison with other figures. Here it is with the Mecha Godzilla 1975. Here it is with Gigan. Here it is with Mothra. Here it is with King Ghidorah 1968. And here it is with King Ghidorah 1964, the Rick version, and Rodan 1964. For a rating out of 10, I give this one a 9. The sculpt is great, and I love the pose he has. The paint is solid and it looks great when displayed next to King Ghidorah and Rodan. If you have those two figures, I think this one is definitely worth picking up as well. The availability for this figure is already going down quite a bit, so if you want one, act soon. I recommend picking this one up. And that does it for the X Plus 25cm Godzilla 1964B. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.